Oh, that felt great. I would take that all day. For decades, Bettinardi has been making some of the most coveted putters in the game of golf. They look like something that should be displayed in a jewelry case next to a tennis bracelet or next to a diamond engagement ring. And yes, the company has made some wedges in the past, but these are the first two irons that Bettinardi has ever produced. This is the CB24 and the MB24. And if you like everything that Bettinardi stands for when it comes to putters, precision craftsmanship, the use of high-end materials, classic design, then this is probably going to be an iron set that you're going to want to learn more about. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the CB24 and the MB24. So first things first, these are definitely better player irons. If you're somebody who struggles with a consistent swing, you lack power, if you need a lot of forgiveness from your iron, you can look someplace else. This is just what you would think a Bettinardi iron would be. We've got a classic cavity back iron with the CB24, and we have a classic muscle back blade with the MB24. They are both going to be forged from 1025 carbon steel for a very, very soft feel. However, Bettinardi has infused specific areas of the steel in different clubs with a combination of tungsten and a ceramic material. Now the tungsten has a very high density, so you can concentrate weight in a very, very small place, which is good because both the CB24 and the MB24 have a very short, compact blade length. There's not a lot of room to maneuver. But by concentrating more weight in the long irons, low in the heads, it's going to help to lower the center of gravity, which is going to make those clubs a little bit easier to use when you want to hit a higher shot. However, both Bettinardi irons have a progressive center of gravity, which means that the CG location elevates as you work your way up through the set. So the mid irons have a slightly higher center of gravity than the long irons, and the scoring clubs, the 8, 9, and the pitching wedge that come with this set are going to have the highest center of gravity of them all. And that's going to help you flight your approach shots down for better distance control and better accuracy. From a looks perspective, again, these are classic better player irons. You have a very thin top line, a relatively narrow sole, just a hint of offset, and really nothing extraneous, not a lot of visual distractions. If we are splitting hairs, the MB24 does have a very slightly thinner top line, but you'd have to hold these clubs next to each other, I think, and really almost get a jeweler's loop to be able to see that it is, in fact, a thinner top line. They are very, very similar, and I think that working with a custom fitter, you will be able to get a blended set, if you're an accomplished player, of CBs in your long irons and then maybe transitioning into the MBs in your mid irons and your scoring clubs if that's something you want to do. Ultimately, for all better player irons, it really comes down to feel and consistency. For accomplished golfers, players who are consistently shooting in the 70s, maybe even hitting every once in a while into the 60s, they want to be able to control the ball flight, they want to be able to feel good shots, and they even want to feel mishits. If they hit a ball out to the toe or in the heel, they hit it thin, they want an iron that's going to let them know that immediately. They want that feedback, both good and bad. Unlike, say, most game improvement and certainly super game improvement irons, which are usually involving materials or have materials designed into them that are going to enhance or amplify feel, that are going to make things feel better. These irons have been designed to provide the maximum amount of feedback. And so the ultimate thing comes down to how do they feel when you hit them. And there's only one way to find out. So let's go give them a shot. Well, I can tell you that straight off the bat, at least, the CB feels really, really good. It is a very soft feel at the moment of impact, but I also will say that as somebody who uses a better player's distance iron, that these distance results off of the 7-iron are about one club shorter than what I'm used to. But that's also by design. This is a solid body, all metal club. It does not have a hollow cavity on the inside. And the irons that I personally use are a hollow body, better player distance iron. So I'm not surprised that I'm not seeing the ball speed numbers that I would expect, and I'm not seeing the distance numbers that I would expect. I have, for the most part, been right around 147, 150 yards with this 7-iron. My typical 7-iron usually goes about 155 to 160, so I'm shorter for the most part. The spin numbers have been good, the feel has been really good, the flight has been really good. Let's see what we get with the MB. So obviously the biggest difference between the CB and the MB is going to be the weight and the positioning of the weight. With the CB, there is some perimeter weighting. You'll notice that there is a cavity back design here, but there is quite a bit of mass that's been placed directly behind the area where you would be making contact with the ball. And that's going to amplify feel and help to give you a little more ball speed. It's going to create a little bit more momentum. But theoretically, that perimeter weighting is going to help to add just a little touch of stability, which is important when you've got a blade length that's going to be this short. When you transition into the MB, you get none of that perimeter weighting. This is a true muscle back blade, so it's designed for players who have extremely powerful, very predictable, very repeatable swings. Again, you've got a little bit more concentration of weight directly behind the area where you're going to be making contact with the ball, but there is nothing in here that is going to be a forgiveness story, that is going to be a consistency story. You need to have a repeatable swing, and as somebody who plays off a 10 handicap, that is not necessarily my calling card. So I'll be very curious to see exactly how this performs for me. I got a hunch I'm going to love the way it feels when I catch it just right, but if I don't hit it just right and I don't find the sweet spot, I got a hunch that it's going to be merciless. Right away I can tell that I pulled it, which is interesting because it felt good, but there's no way that that ball is not going hard left. And yes, 167 yards of carry, 172, but a dead pull. Little off balance there, but again, we're seeing a little bit more of a cut. So relatively similar distances, 148 carry, 148 total with 6,100 and change spin. That's about the kind of distance we were seeing with the CB. Oh, that felt great. I would take that all day. Ooh, fat. Yep, Fat Albert has entered the building. That's as solidly struck as I can hit it. It's a dead pull. It's going to go left. Yep, there it is. So for somebody who can really hit this, 168 carry, 177 ball speed, it's definitely something that's capable of giving you some distance if you've got the club head speed to do it. Good Lord. That felt really good. And the survey says, yep, straight. Again, a little bit lower spin than I might have otherwise suspected. 152 carry, 153 total. So that's about what I'm seeing. From a distance standpoint, it would seem like both the CB and the MB are going to provide you with about the same amount of distance. They both feel really good. But as I suspected, for me personally, probably not the iron that I would put in my bag simply because I need more consistency. I need a little bit more help from my irons. But if you have a very consistent swing, if you're somebody who really values feel and control and consistency above everything else, it would certainly seem that Bettinardi is going to be hitting the mark. I mean, it is delivering from a looks perspective, from a feel perspective, everything that accomplished golfers would really want. You're getting that. They look, again, fantastic. I love the little detailing on the back. Seeing the Bettinardi honeycomb is sort of a call, once again, to its putter heritage. So I'll be very, very curious to see how these go in the marketplace. At about $1,600 for a set, it's not going to be an inexpensive proposition, but Bettinardi putters are not an inexpensive proposition either. I don't think that a Bettinardi putter player is really going to wince at that price, but it's also going to keep it somewhat exclusive. It's going to be somewhat rare to spot a set of these out in the wild. So if these do well, and if the Bettinardi folks are satisfied with the way that sales go, I'll be very curious to see if they do get into more of a game improvement or more likely a better player distance iron. Bettinardi is all about craftsmanship and quality and trying to expand up their reach beyond just these really better player irons would be great, but I think we're probably talking a couple of years potentially down the road, continued success. We haven't seen them branch out into lots and lots of different offerings in the wedge category. Probably not going to see that as well into the iron category. This is probably a club that they feel that they can make. They want to demonstrate that they can do it. But I don't know if there are aspirations in Tinley Park, Illinois about becoming a big player in the iron business. That would be sort of out of character in some ways for Bettinardi. So once again, to wrap it up, the Bettinardi CB and MB24 irons, if you're an accomplished golfer, if you're somebody who has a powerful, consistent swing, this is definitely something you're going to want to talk to a custom fitter about. If you're somebody who is really needing a lot more forgiveness if you're looking for distance, then this may be something that you want to admire when you go to your local pro shop or specialty store that carries them, but you might want to have second thoughts about actually putting them into your bag.